Welcome to your science lesson about health. I can identify what a person needs. We have some vocabulary on this first page. If you look over here, we have the word shelter. And then underneath it, we have the word water. Over here, we have unhealthy food. And right over here where we have nutritious food. These are all words that you're going to see during our lesson today. Let's get started. All right, this is part one of your science lesson on health. During this lesson, we will introduce our focus standard, review new vocabulary, review our basic science rules, read our text about healthy and unhealthy food, and we're going to create a KWL chart. I have some questions that I want you to think about as we're doing our health lesson. First, which foods are nutritious? Candy, banana, or soda? Which foods are nutritious? Next question. One of the human needs is water, nice shoes, or chips? Think about that question during our lesson. Last, look at this picture. What basic human need is in this picture? Shelter, rest, unhealthy food. Think about these questions during our lesson. All right, let's review our basic science rules. Can you help me pop these balloons to see what our basic science rules are? Help me. I want to hear you popping those balloons. Pop that blue balloon. Listen to your teacher. That's our first basic science rule. Can you help me pop the red balloon? Help me pop that red balloon. Interact nicely with the materials. That's a good science rule. All right, help me pop this green balloon. Let me hear you. All experiments are done with a teacher. Never do science experiments alone. Let's pop this last balloon. Ready? Investigate the materials. All right, now that we know our basic science rules, let's learn about some basic lab safety. Let's watch this video about general lab safety together.
Ah, labs. We love labs. They're the best part of science, the whole doing part. And since you're probably going to be doing some amazing science labs this year, we thought we'd outline a few major points of general lab safety. Because safety is a big deal. And while this is certainly not all the points of safety, always read through the safety guidelines specific to the lab you're doing, these are some major general safety rules that apply for many types of labs. First, let's talk about shoes. And hair. We have neither of those, but if you do, long hair needs to be pulled back. You should wear closed-toed shoes because you don't want to be pouring something toxic on your feet or walking on broken glass. Speaking of broken glass, bags and stuff in the aisles and lab rooms do not help. You want a clear path and not have your belongings out where someone could trip over them. And no horseplay. To protect your eyes, wear goggles. And when we say wear goggles, we all know that on your forehead doesn't count. If you do feel as though something has gotten in your eyes, you will want to use the eye wash station, which will require you to hold your eyes open under the running water. If your lab involves working with specimens or chemicals, you will likely be advised to wear gloves. Gloves are important. Yes, sometimes they make your hands feel clammy, but you know what's worse? Chemicals that can irritate or burn your skin. If you have an allergy to latex, you should make sure that the gloves you are using are latex-free. Ask your instructor. In fact, if you have any allergies, you should let your instructor know. When you finish a lab, even if you wore gloves, it's a good idea to wash your hands after time in the lab. Some labs may require you to wear an apron to protect your clothes. Depending on what type of course you are in and the type of labs you are doing, you also might have a safety shower, which will dump a very large amount of water on you if you get some type of hazardous chemical on you. If you accidentally break glassware, don't pick it up. It could cut you. A broom and a dustpan should be used to clean it up, and there should be a place designated for broken glass. Not the regular trash, where it would just break through the trash liner. If you see glassware that is chipped already, don't use it and tell your instructor. Never drink or eat anything in the lab. That includes chemicals. Don't taste or smell chemicals. Read labels. Don't ever pour chemicals that you may be using back into the bottle that they came from. As soon as you finish pouring chemicals out of a container, the container should be immediately closed. When you're done with a chemical, you want to make sure you properly dispose of it. Many chemicals can't just be put down the drain. In fact, some solid items that you use in your labs also cannot be thrown away in the regular trash and have to be disposed of as hazardous waste. Always check with your instructor. In some labs, you may have a special ventilation system, also known as a fume hood. This is used when dealing with volatile substances, which is a fancy way of describing a substance that can easily vaporize. Some of your labs may require the fume hood because some of these volatile substances may be harmful if you inhale them. When you're heating things up, like this test tube in a hot water bath, don't have the test tube pointed towards you. Use tongs or heat protective gloves to handle the test tube that you may be heating. Also, electricity and water are not a good mix. So when you're doing your super awesome microscope lab, you want to keep the water away from the electrical cord. And speaking of microscopes, we could have an entire video on just working with the microscope. But for now, we'll make sure to mention carrying it with 2 hands. One hand underneath the base, and the other holding the microscope arm. If you're using any special science equipment, it's important to know how to carefully carry it. If you are in a lab that has an open flame, obviously be aware of the flame. Review with your instructor how to operate the valve that controls the gas fueling the flame. Review with your instructor how to properly heat the various glassware that will be suspended over the flame. Every time you are in the lab with an open flame, you must keep all materials that may be flammable away from the area near the flame. Depending on the types of labs you're doing, your lab room may also have a fire extinguisher and or a fire blanket in the room. Rules and guidelines, because if you're following them, hands-on science is simply awesome. In addition to the hands-on part of science, you can always check out our science comic video clips that may be helpful on a variety of science topics you might cover this year. Well, that's it for the Meet the Sisters, and we remind you to stay curious.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that video about general lab safety. Now we are going to watch our anticipatory set video.
Well, me known for eating cookie when me don't they shout hooky, trying to throw loyal fans a curve. What he doing eating fish or vegetable dish? Man, he sure got lots of nerve. Well, me answer you straight when you filling a plate, taking only cookies, all wrong. Cause you also got to eat fruit or veggies or meat if you wanna be healthy and strong. Yo, healthy food, boy, it tastes so good. Me one healthy dude, cause me eat healthy food. Me love it, boiled or stewed. Me love it, whole or chewed. You feel just great if you eat some healthy food. Promise that when you eat varied menu, you get more out of every meal. You need balanced diet. Come on and try it, not believe how great you feel. Munch some carrots or beans or poultry and greens along with your chocolate chip. And banana or plum will make you go yum. Nutrition, it really is. Girls, healthy food. Oh boy, it tastes so good. Be one healthy dude, 'cause we eat healthy food. Boiled or stewed, me love it, whole or chewed. You feel just great if you eat some healthy food. Their broiled spring chicken, grape, ripe pork, chicken, and swordfish, tuna and trout, and apple and cherry, and all kinds of berry, and broccoli and Brussels sprout. Their lettuce, tomato, boiled new potato, their spinach and celery and beet. Milk and honey and cheese, peanuts, peppers and peas, pears, peaches, and cream of wheat. Word up, healthy food. Boy, it tastes so good. Me one healthy dude, 'cause we eat healthy food. We love it, boiled or stewed.
anticipatory set. What do you think we're going to learn about? Do you think we're going to learn about nutritious foods? Or do you think we're going to learn about nice shoes? What do you think? Did you say nutritious foods? That's right. Today we're going to learn about nutritious foods. Here are some vocabulary words you need to know while we're doing this lesson. The first word is nutritious. Nutritious. The next word is unhealthy. Unhealthy. The next word is grains and cereals. Grains and cereals. Next we have vegetables. Then we have fruits. And last, diet. Diet. Living things have needs. You already know what a plant needs to survive. Water, sun, and nutrients. Humans have needs too. You're a human. I'm a human. The human body needs nutritious food, water, rest, and protection to survive. Let's make a KWL chart. First, we need to start what we already know. Pop that green bubble so we can see what we already know about this topic. Plants need water, sunlight, and nutrients to survive. You do know that because we've already learned about the basic plant needs in a previous lesson. Let's see what we want to know. What do you want to learn in this lesson? Pop that blue balloon. Let's swipe it. Nice. What healthy foods do people need to survive? What healthy foods do people need to survive? That's the question I want you to be thinking about during this lesson. Let's read our chapter about healthy eating. Our repeated storyline is I need nutritious foods to survive. So whenever you see that star, I want you to tell me the repeated storyline. I need nutritious food to survive. Ready? Let's go. Think about your favorite food. Is it pizza? Is it ice cream? Is it apples? Hamburgers? We need food to help us grow strong and stay healthy. The foods you eat every day are called your diet. I have a question for you. What are the foods you eat every day called? Did you say diet? That's right. The foods you eat every day are called your diet. And I see a star. That means it's time for our repeated storyline. I need nutritious foods to survive. A diet is what you normally eat. It's important to have a balanced diet. That means you're eating the right kinds of foods and the right amounts of foods. Do you see the star? What's our repeated storyline? That's right. I need nutritious foods to survive. Good job. Some foods are better for our bodies than other foods. Foods that are good for us are nutritious. Nutritious means healthy. Some nutritious foods are apples, oatmeal, Cheerios, or carrots. Some foods are not very good for us at all. These are unhealthy foods. Unhealthy foods are sodas, candy, chocolate, or French fries. I have a question for you. What is an example of nutritious food? Did you say apples? That's right. Apples are an example of nutritious food. I have another question for you. What's an example of unhealthy food? Do you Say soda? That's right. Soda is an example of unhealthy food. Do you see the star? Can you remind me of our repeated? That's right. I need nutritious food to survive. Good job. Our next section is about grains and cereals. Do you remember grains and cereals from our vocabulary page? Well, the brown section of the pyramid food group is called grains and cereals. Bread, noodles, crackers, and rice are all in this food group. These foods have lots of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates give your body energy. There are two different types of carbohydrates in food, simple and complex. Simple carbohydrates are in white sugar, fruits, and milk. I have a question for you. What is an example of a grain in cereal? Did you say bread? That's right. Bread is an example of a grain. I have another question for you. What is an example of a simple carbohydrate? Did you say sugar? White sugar is an example of a simple carbohydrate. Good job. Do you see the yellow star? Do you see it? What does that mean? Do you know the repeated storyline? That's right. I need nutritious food to survive. Good job. Look at all these examples of different types of grains and cereals. Let's travel around and see them. Over here, we have a type of cereal. That's a healthy type of cereal. And down here, we have some pasta and we have bread. Looks like we have rice in there too. And then over here, we have some crackers. These are all examples of different types of grains and cereals. Our next section is on vegetables. The green section of the pyramid is for vegetables. What vegetables do you like to eat? What vegetables do you like to eat? Maybe you like carrots, spinach, broccoli, or corn. There are many vegetables, and it is important to eat vegetables every day because they have vitamins and minerals in them. Carrots have vitamin A, which helps you see at night. I have a question for you. What is an example of a type of vegetable? That's right. Broccoli is an example of a type of vegetable. Good listening. Do you see the yellow star? Can you tell me our repeated storyline? That's right. I need nutritious food to survive. Look at all these different types of vegetables. Over here we have broccoli. And underneath me we have carrots. And what are those over there? Let's get closer. Those look like they could be Brussels sprouts or maybe peas. I can't tell, but it doesn't matter. They're both examples of vegetables. These vegetables look very good and they're very good for you. Let's keep reading. Our next section is about fruits. Fruits are also an important food group. The red section of the food pyramid is for fruits. What are some of your favorite fruits? What are some of your favorite fruits? Apples, oranges, bananas, and grapes are all good fruits. Eating fruits and drinking fruit juices will give you the vitamins and minerals you need. I have a question for you. Can you tell me an example of a fruit? Did you say oranges? That's right. Oranges are an example of a healthy fruit with lots of citrus. Good listening. Oh, do you see the yellow star? Can you tell me the repeated storyline? That's right. I need nutritious food to survive. Good listening. Let's keep reading. Oh, wow, look at all these beautiful fruits. They look so good. Over here, we have some grapes, apples, bananas. There's a pear up there. Oh, I see another pear. And then over here, we have strawberries, beautiful red, shiny strawberries. And if you look underneath me, you can see a pineapple in the center of that fruit basket looking thing. Pineapples are really good fruits. They're my favorite fruits. I wonder if pineapples are your favorite fruit. Let's keep reading. Healthy meals. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It is the meal that gives you energy after a long night of not eating. Children who eat breakfast do better in school because they have more energy. A healthy breakfast might be a bowl of cereal, fruit, eggs, or pancakes. I have a question for you. Can you tell me the most important meal of the day? That's right. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Good listening. I have another question for you. Can you give me an example of a good food to eat for breakfast? That's right. Eggs are a great food to eat for breakfast. They have lots of protein. Do you see the yellow star? What does that mean? Can you tell me the repeated storyline? That's right. I need nutritious food to survive. What did we learn about health? I think we can finish out this KWL chart. What do you think? Let's get rid of this yellow bubble and see what we learned from that story. People need healthy food with nutrients to survive. Healthy foods include grains, fruit, and cereal. We did learn that from this lesson. Good job paying attention and learning about health. Thank you for watching part 1 of your health lesson. Come see me next week for part 2 of your health lesson. Thank you. Bye-bye.